Stitch Haunttober came up on my YouTube search, and what a perfect opportunity to either catch up on a bunch of Halloween projects or to start something new. I own the latter choice. I have a lot of things that I want to stitch, but I got stuck with stitching the same project and really honing in, and it was hard for me to venture out. So this pushed me to get all the supplies, the cloth, the threads, the patterns that I really have been toying with in my mind, and just it keeps taking up space when it's in your head and you're thinking about it but you're not doing it. So this stitch along has 13 prompts, and they at the Black Needle Society YouTube, if you watch their intro, their goal is to do 500 stitches per prompt, and they have 13 different projects. I'm going to go ahead and overlap a few of them because I don't have that big of a collection yet. It's easily snowballing into a lot of projects. 500 stitches per prompt, easily done. So I spun for the first day and it worked out perfect. I was thinking that like people wouldn't believe that I didn't stage this, but it was the Lori Holtz Quilted Scarecrow project. I spun falling leaves, and I had worked up until the point until I get to all the foliage on the filler side of this project. So that I was thrilled to work on that. So 500 more stitches in an evening. I was already set up for it, and that went by really quickly. So that was a really good introduction to it. The second day, I spun first thing in the morning because I knew after this stitch, like I would have to find something, put stuff together. And I spun Haunted House. And I couldn't remember what that was. What did I had assigned to it? And then finally I remembered that I have the House on Pumpkin Lane, Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. The Houses on Pumpkin Lane series designed by Lori Pengilly. I have all the patterns for that, and I have the optional border. So I had ordered the fabric. That was my last order that came in. I ordered the fabric for that. It's a 32 count linen, stitching 2/2. And it took me a good chunk of the afternoon to get all the threads prepped for that. And then sitting down and doing, when you're working on linen and all the props all the little things are spaced out quite a bit for the border. So I had to do a lot of stop starts. I stitched until 10 o'clock at night, and I was so tired that I went ahead. I had 42 stitches left, but I'm like, I'm done. I'm so tired. So then the next morning I went ahead and just stitched some more of the border and crushed it. It was done. So now you're up to speed. That was over the weekend that I got started. And here we are for day 3. I'm gonna prompt 3 because it might happen for more than a day now that we're on the weekday and I have to do my day job. So let's go ahead and get spinning for the 3rd. So I loaded each of those prompts into my decision wheel, and we're gonna spin for a cauldron. Oh, I think I know what that was. I should have written down what each of these were gonna be. Okay, I found it. There's a cauldron on the witch's kitchen. Right there. And here's where I'm at. So I'll have to stitch down, and then down here. So we'll see if I can get down and over and make it over to that cauldron in 500 stitches. I have 150 stitches left to go, but it's gonna get dark and I'm gonna put on comfy clothes. So I wanna go ahead and show you that I made a beeline and I made it to the cauldron. So I'll finish stitching the rest of the 500 tonight, and I wanted to spin again so that I can start stitching tomorrow morning really early before work. I'll get the 4th day. Orange and black. I mean, they all kind of have orange and black. All right, let me look through the pile and I'll get back to you. I think the project that I had picked out for black and orange was Be Spooky from the Kitchen Chalk series by Priscilla Blaine. I saw it and bought it and instantly loved it, and I'm not feeling it anymore. But I think since I've purchased this, there's just so many other projects that I've seen and got excited about and started. And this just isn't, I'm not feeling it. So I'm gonna find something else. I might just stick with Witch's Kitchen. So I might just do that unless I think of something else. So we'll see in the next update what I end up doing. But it's not gonna be spooky. I'm not, for a new start, there's other things I'd rather start and be really excited for. So this is for Priscilla. It's still in the queue.
Told you to walk away.
All right, I did some deep thoughts and I found my black and orange project, and I have the Calendar Crates collection from, no, it's Priscilla Blaine. Yep, Priscilla Blaine put these together from Stitching with the Housewives. So October looks like this. And of course there's black and orange, there's black is the background. But I want to rechart this. When I read that, it looks like block cot and not black cat. So I want to change the letters on that. Also, this is a new project and I don't have all the colors to dive into October. When I bought this a year and a half ago, I started from January, I started collecting the threads. So I'm gonna start with January. I know that doesn't really tie in, but the project contains black and orange. We're gonna go with that. January, this little BB one. And nice to get a start on this now. It would get done by January and maybe I can keep up with it for the year. I took, let's see, it recommended 28 count linen, stitch 2 over 2. I bought, let's see, Witchell premium linen in that size, and I cut 6 because I know that I'm gonna put this in an 8-inch frame for each of them, just really cheap frames off of Amazon. So I have 1-inch border on each side. So it's gonna be tight, but otherwise you would just get 2 cloths from that big piece, and I can't do it. I can't buy 6 of those for this little dinky project for half of it because I still gotta do the little ones. So I have this little size. I got all of 6 of them sewn on the edges with a zigzag stitch, and then I ironed and pressed them so I can start from the center out and not run out of room. And I've got my little teeny Q-snap. So I'm gonna start with January because I have all the threads for that. So I'll see you in 500 stitches. Look, this definitely still counts. There's orange for the little snowman's nose. So there's got the little snowman and they have little orange noses, and I'm using black cloth. So it's black and orange, it counts, it counts.
First and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do?
Another morning, another spin on the wheel. I was stitching last night and I just got really exhausted, and I did make it. I went and caught up my stitches on Marked Up, and it was 504 exactly. I was so excited. I really thought it wasn't enough. It didn't look like enough, but I made it through, and I'll put my progress on that. So let's spin for today, and hopefully we're getting to some of the projects I've been thinking of this whole time and not these surprise projects. Oh no, I gotta just show you. It is a pumpkin. Because I wasn't screen recording. Okay, pumpkin project. I mean, that's pretty easy. A lot of things have pumpkins. It's, okay. So I'll just work on what I feel like that has a pumpkin.
'Cause I'm just a sinking ship.
Another 500 down on the scarecrow. So all the leaves that don't have stems is what I added last night. And I got to number 500 and just put my needle down. I didn't even finish the thread. I was so done. And then this morning I went ahead and finished up what I had left on the thread. So I am ready for day 6 on this. And let's hope for a good spin. A black cat. All right, I gotta think about that. I found some kitties. So the first one is already in progress in the witch's kitchen. There's that cat. He's black and white. The prompt is just a black cat. Which, why wouldn't this be a black cat? Little tuxedo cat in the witch's kitchen. And then I got this kitty. So this would be a new start. There's a kitty right there. But I'm really excited about the fabric that I have picked out for this. It's this nice, really earthy brown. And I kept the, let's see, it's the color oatmeal. 14 count even weave. And one's 14 count and one's 35 count. It's a pretty different stitching experience. I'm not gonna finish this by Halloween. I feel like I wanna save it and keep working on this. I mean, this isn't even close to done either. But I'm gonna enjoy the 14 count more. I think I wanna relax with some 14 count stitching. I'll go ahead and do a new start. So we're gonna start the Stitch Witch. I won't make it to the cat because I gotta start from the center. Okay, here are those 500 stitches on Stitch Witch. I didn't make it over to the black cat. It's way down here. But I did want to try, there's only 6 colors in this whole project and I wanted to try all of them. I didn't get to the white, but I've already tested out the white. It'll pop quite a bit. And I love all of them against this oatmeal. But this kind of blue, gray blue, it's reading more blue and it looks more alien colored than witch colored. Maybe that'll pan out differently as more gets done. But I do, like in the camera, it's looking more gray. So maybe just in certain light, it'll stick to a gray wash. But I am having a great time. And now it's nice, easy 14 count stitching with a lot of fill. So now I can spin for the next one. And this will be prompt number 7. I'll be halfway, over the halfway point because there's 13. And that is pretty exciting. To get so far in this challenge when I didn't have a whole lot to start with. All right, so let's spin a witch. Well, it looks like I'm going to continue on Stitch Witch because I had 2 witch options. There was the Stitch Witch that I just started and there was the Be Spooky. There was that witch, but I've kind of set this aside. Plus I cut up all my black fabric for the calendar crates that I'm doing. So now I don't have everything I need to work on that anyways. So that's another 500 on Stitch Witch. I can do that.
Just a pair of lips that I've lost in.
I've had a breakthrough in my stitching. So, I mean, first of all, I'm up to 1,000 now on Stitch Witch. And I messed up 1 count on her sleeve. And so I tried to compensate for it. And then I had to adjust the hair a little bit and then it's symmetrical. So I have to do the same adjustment on the other side. I should have just tore it out. I should have just pulled up my thread and started over. But I didn't want to go back and I thought it'd be easy to fix. So we'll see. But I was also thinking that I would just stick with all black. I gotta buy another 310. There's a lot of black in this. But okay, so I'll tell you about what I learned. There is Stitching Masterpieces on YouTube, And she's got a really cool floss keeper system and that she uses gallon-sized bags. And so that came up as a short. And I've also watched her like starting and ending loop threads, shorts. But then like I saw that she has long form videos, and she said like how to stitch faster because she stitches about 400 stitches per hour. And for me, it's like a little over 100. I was like, how is that possible? And I had been reading in the Facebook groups. I'm trying to pick out my first full coverage piece that I want to have going on in the background. And people would post things like, oh, as long as I maintain 1,000 stitches per day, I'll be done, in 2 years. And I was, how is that possible? Because I would stitch hour in the morning during my lunch break for an hour, and then all evening and until my eyes started to burn at night. And I'd get to 500 stitches, like right on. I was like, how are they like home all day stitching? And then I watched that YouTube video. So she doesn't have a frame. So she just props her and she doesn't have like a stand that holds it. She's just got her frame, and she just showed how to stitch two-handed. So like I changed how I was sitting so that my hand holds the frame and then stitching like that. And I was just doing that passively and going through and stitching and while watching YouTube. Like I have it off to the side and I'm just seeing what people are stitching and watching her videos, which have some of them are just sounds. She doesn't do a voiceover. So, I mean, I really had to pay attention. And through all that, I got to that point at 10 o'clock at night where my eyes are starting to burn. I'm done stitching for the day. It was 800 stitches. Just doing all those adjustments, I was stitching so much faster. So that was a really cool thing to learn. Like, so my left hand is really sore today because it's just not used to that motion. And, it's not like an arthritic pain that I would expect. It's just new muscles being used. So I'm really excited to make some good progress a lot faster. And because I do lean towards if you're part of the process enjoyment versus the product, like I stitch things and I know where they're going to be in my house or where they're going to end up, and I'm working towards that finish. It's not like I can just stitch and as long as I'm stitching, I'm happy and, just being there listening to the sound. Like that's a nice bonus, but I do have plans for things that I make. And I'm really excited. That's why it's taking so long to find a full coverage that I really want to commit all that time to. Like it's got to go in a good spot. Everyone has to like it. But as far as this challenge, we're making good progress. And I don't have my phone in here. Okay. So I'm 1,004 stitches in, and it like really bothers me to just leave this little hole, but I'm like 1,000 done. Drop it, and we'll spin next. So if I get the option like 31 is on the bottom of this, October 31st, and I'll be able to keep stitching on that once I get to that point. Okay, let me go get my phone and we'll spin. Now we spin. Okay, we did the pumpkin one. Sorry for not having my wheel settings right. A crow. That's new. Okay. All right. Oh, I know exactly. Okay, I got 2 crow options. Here are my crow options. So first, my first thought is the scarecrow. Here's the crow that's on that. I've already stitched him, so it would just be more of the sleeve fill. But it kind of bugs me that it's got an orange beak. I don't think crows have orange beaks. I think this is just a blackbird. So the inaccuracy. If you know about crows having orange beaks, then let me know. Maybe there's some sort of breed of crows with orange beaks. But then the other option is in Witch's Kitchen. Is this bird? Is that a crow? I mean, it's all black, but I think the theme of this would be more of a raven in the Witch's Kitchen. And plus ravens I know they have like more stout beaks. So this actually might be a raven. So I think scarecrow makes more sense for a crow challenge. Okay, so I mean, that's what I'm gonna go with. 500 stitches on my scarecrow. Here's where we left off. The sunshine. So I've got stems to put in, and then I'll just go ahead and keep working down on that half and keep him moving along. I think I have 4,000 stitches left on this, so it would really help it move it along. And I'll put Stitch Witch away, even though I really want to keep going on that and make sure her sleeves are symmetrical since I messed them up. Okay, all right, that's what I'm gonna do.
All I want is for you to come back.
Catch up on a weekend of stitching. I put my head down and I got 3 more days completed. I love it. So I can't really update during the weekend because my husband's loud, my kid's loud. It's not conducive, but I finished up the crow for the scarecrow pattern on Friday night. I hit my 500 and I really wanted to get to the next one, so I spun right there in my chair and I got the owl. So the owl prompt almost made me not start this whole challenge because I don't have anything owls and I'm not an owl person. I didn't think I was going to be able to find anything. But then when I was just hunting around on 123crossstitch.com, they had an animal section and then they had owls. I'm like, let's just see what's there. Something else speak to me. And I did find something. I found from a collection called Months in Mugs. And I found called Fairy Wool, I believe is what she goes by. And she has an Etsy store because they didn't have this one on 123 Cross Stitch. And I don't want to do all the months. I just want to do November, which is my birthday month that has the owl. I was able to work 500 stitches in just the yellow. Oh, it's upside down. Okay, so made good progress and there's, I think, 4,000 stitches in this. I really want to get this done by November, make a little pillow, be super cute. And I have a different organization. I took all my floss bags and just stuck them in there. So as I need a color, I'll do all the pre-cuts, put it on the floss bobbin, but I didn't want to waste time doing that. So I just stuck with yellow because then I only had to do it one time and I just stitched. And I'll catch up when I'm not in a challenge in a hurry. So I got the 500 on that. The next spin was Acorn. And my Acorn project was going to be again in the Pumpkin Lane series. There is an acorn house. And this is number 8. So I didn't get to work on this house, but it's in the collection since I'm putting all of them on one cloth. And I made really good progress on that. The first time I just got the banner on the side. And then this I started, so this was for this chart. And I worked all my way up to make sure that this matched over here. And then extra stitches, I got this little bird just because I wanted to. So that house is coming up and I am really aggressively loving that. And I also changed my floss storage for that. So I got a container, so the entire container, and each color is its own compartment because you have to do a lot of just like 10 stitches here, 12 stitches there. It's hard to do a lot of fill. It's a lot of broken up pieces. So it's a lot easier to just have the floss in a container and then all my little partials rather than juggling the ring of it. And I really enjoyed that a lot more. So Acorn is done, and there's 3 prompts left. There's Bat, Skeleton, and the number 31. The number 31 wasn't on my wheel. I don't know if I maxed it out or I didn't put that on. And I'm not gonna spin anymore because I'm in a good groove and I'm gonna finish my challenge. I thought that I would just get to like 7 or 8, but I did really good, especially for starting mid-month. So for Skeleton, I have a skull on the Witch's Kitchen. So I've already stitched the skull, but I'll just put 500 more stitches on this one, which it feels like forever since I worked on it. And the bat is on Back Online. Here we go. I believe I was talking about the other 2 prompts. There is a bat, and that's gonna be the Stitch Witch because it has a bat right there and there. So that'll be another 500 for this. And then the last one is the 31, something with the number 31. So I mean that has, Stitch Witch has October 31 at the bottom, but I also have Calendar Crates October, which I mentioned before, for my black and orange. And it's got the little mini at the bottom that is October 31st. So my plan has always been to make the big one before the month arrives for 2026, and then do the mini when I can fit them in, just as little pillows. So do I want to put 1,000 stitches on Stitch Witch or start a little pillow? And this could have been my black and orange, and then I'd have something finished. I think we gotta live a little dangerously and do another start and have a start and finish for this challenge. It's a challenge, yeah. That's gonna really bump it up. I think that's cute. I think I can do it. It is 49 by 41 and probably less than 500 stitches. And it'll be my first little cross stitch pillow. And then I will be all challenged out. That will be it. I will be done. Okay. So I'm gonna be doing those 3, no more wheel, get those stitched up, and then at the end I have my full roundup because a lot has happened over these 13 days. All right, I'll see you then. I did it. I finished all the prompts. I am done with the 13 days Stitch Hunttober, and I'm really proud of myself. So let's do a full recap on how it all went down. We're gonna start with the Quilted Scarecrow by Lori Holt. And this was already a work in progress. I put, the prompts that I completed for it was falling leaves, pumpkin, and crow. So 1,500 stitches for the challenge. And then after I was completely done with everything and waiting for this day that I could film, it was 2,000 stitches. Here's where it's at now. I'm getting really close to the end, and my son really loves this thing that I'm stitching out of all of it. When I paused stitching on this to start the other challenges, he was pretty bummed. I didn't realize how much he enjoyed. He would go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, and have a little more done. So he really wants to see it all made up, and you know how it's super exciting when other people get excited about what you're making, because that doesn't happen much anymore. Since they make so much stuff, they're like, cool. So to have something that my son's excited about. So that'll be, after all this is all done, that'll be the first thing that I finish. Next is Witch's Kitchen from Tiny Modernist. This was also already a work in progress. It was my lunchtime stitch that I was working on just because of the tiny 35 count, and I need full sunlight to see that. So here's where it was at the beginning, and it followed the prompts, a cauldron and a skeleton, even though it just has a skull. I'm gonna count it as a skeleton. So 1,000 more stitches on this project. And it doesn't have much further to go. I think 8,000 stitches altogether. So we're making good progress on it, but it's still gonna be a slow, just lunchtime stitch. And now we're gonna get into all the new starts, because I only had 2 kind of in progress at that point. And so we have the Stitch Witch from Tiny Modernist. And the prompts that were fulfilled here was a witch, black cat, and a bat. So 1,500 stitches on Tiny Modernist. And I'm really enjoying that one. It's got a nice, comfortable 14 or 16 count Aida compared to the other ones. And pretty much just a bunch of fill stitches. There's only 6 colors in this whole project. So that's just enjoyable to pass time and work on that. The next new start is a big project that I have been eyeing for over a year. And it was fun to finally just make some progress. It was really intimidating to do 9 different houses from the Pumpkin House Lane series along the border and make sure everything lines up, but it's not so bad. Like now that I've started it and I'm understanding how to count over 2 a lot better and be more comfortable with that. So I started the Pumpkin House of the Pumpkin Lane series. Let's see, this is by Lori Pengilly for Pansy Patch Quilts, and it fulfilled the Haunted House prompt and an acorn. So that's 1,000 stitches on that. And it's so pretty. This is the type of cross stitch I'm really enjoying. The more that you work on it, the more it comes alive. I loved getting into the house and seeing all the little quirks and images. It's a lot of stops and starts, but I don't mind it because each color really adds quite a bit to the overall image. I'm really enjoying that, and I'm excited to keep working on that. The next one that I started was the Calendar Crate series by Priscilla Blaine for Stitching with the Housewives. And October had black and orange, so I started with January because that's the beginning and that's where I wanted to start. So just 500 stitches on the January prompt, but it's still black and white because the little carrot noses are orange. And it's tough on this black Witchell. Let's see, I believe it's 28 count black Witchell, very stiff. And so I'm training my eyes on how to see it. You have to see through the fabric in order to count over 2, and I'm just getting used to undoing stitches. Like you see when your stitch is off and it's not lining up. It is tough, but I really like the idea of completing each month and being able to stick that on a little board. Next new start was for the owl prompt. This one I didn't already have in queue. I did start this project for the challenge because I'm just not an owl person. Not a lot of owls came up until I found this. And it's November, it's got yellow, it's got a mug. There's a lot of stuff that just hit all the buttons that it was worth it to me to get this going, and I can't wait to finish it and put it into a little pillow. So hopefully I'll just blast through the scarecrow, and then November 1st to blast through this one so I can have the pillow up, but I'll probably like keep it around beyond November because it is really pretty. So that's by Fairy Wool, and the prompt was an owl, so here's the 500 stitches for that. And then the final project to be completed was the number 31. And I could have gone with Stitch Witch that had 31 in it, but instead I did the pillow. Oh my goodness. This is the cutest thing I have ever created. Look at it, it's so chunky. And I got some fabric with black cats on the back, and this is a rickrack finish. This actually it took me the longest out of all the prompts because I didn't have color 209, this purple. And I looked through all the purples that I had, and nothing was really this medium. I had really light purples and dark purples. So I had 208 and 210. You have hundreds and hundreds of DMC threads, and there's still always one I gotta get. So we did a whole big trip to Michael's, and Michael's had thread 209, but it didn't have rickrack. They had yellow rickrack, but that really wasn't gonna work. Like yellow is a Halloween color, but this isn't it. So then we went to Hobby Lobby, and then they had all the threads, all the ribbons, and I got all loaded up. And so that is my final project, a start and a finish to round it all out. I had a great time. I got to start some things I've been really excited about, and it was just really enjoyable experience. So let me know if you did this challenge or if I should try to go for it next year. I don't know, I'm gonna be pretty busy now wrapping things up. So go ahead and stay tuned for my channel to see how all those wrap up. And thanks for watching. Happy Halloween, bye-bye.